Hi, my name is Hannah. I'm going to be doing shift 5 from the Birkin and Yates, Shifting the Balance. To this chapter really had me thinking about a lot of things, like how many hacks or tricks students use inside the education system that end up becoming a negative instead of a positive. So that's kind of what this felt like. So what is my experience with MSV? I don't have any. I'm not an English teacher, never have been, not really good at English isn't my strong suit, and I hadn't really heard about what it was until today. So how does this information shift align with or disrupt it? So from what I read in the system is that MSV is not meant to be relied on. It's meant to help students check afterwards to make sure they got the correct decoding or word stuff correctly. It's not meant to be used all the time because in the end it could end up hurting them and their decoding skills and word recognition rather than helping them out. So that was my understanding of it. Haven't really worked with it a lot, but it seems to kind of disrupt the flow of their learning. So how do you ensure students have ample processing time before offering prompts or other supports? I struggle with this a lot, especially in my math classroom. I always want to jump the gun and do the answer, but students want to do the answer and they want to answer the question. And oftentimes I'll go and I'll solve a problem and then they'll be like, oh, you already solved it. So I know that the students want to answer and they want to respond and they want to reply. And sometimes we just jump the gun. So some of the techniques that my instructional coach has given me to like actually count in my head and count the numbers in my head. So that way I give students more time to answer the problem. And I liked what somebody else said in one of their discussion boards is that it gives those slower students time to feel like included, because there are the students that will hurry up and solve it and yell at the answer, and giving them a wait time and making sure that they know, hey, don't answer the question yet, don't yell it out loud, just makes those people feel included, because I don't always want them to yell at the answer and then they're like, oh, I didn't even try, or maybe discourage them from being able to try the answer. So that's one of the things that I struggle with is processing time. And I know it's so important in English as well, because it takes a minute from your brain to go from here to there with all the words that they're reading and learning. So in my current practice, when do I notice myself prompting students to reread? How might you support students in developing habits for systematically rereading a word? I don't have a lot of experience with English, so from what I've seen in the English teachers that read, because we've been observing them, she has them like do partner kind of stuff, go back and forth with each other. So like if there's a part where they didn't understand, or maybe they like said it weird to each other, she'll have them reread and maybe echo each other. And she also does that like in the classroom. She'll have a student read, and if it sounded kind of weird, she would reread it and they would echo her. So I think that's a good tool to use to help them make sense of some of the words that they may be missing or not. But like I said, I haven't had a lot of experience in it. One of the things that I have questions about after doing this is like, it said that MSV is kind of prohibiting kids from being able to use those decoding skills and stuff. And so many times I feel like in special education, we use like signs and pictures as a way to like communicate, which is fine. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but are we using signs and pictures instead of, doing words and stuff like that? Like, are we giving up completely on the communication of words and maybe hands and other things and just like relying on pictures? Like, are there other things in education that we're doing that with? Are there other things that we're relying on that we're thinking is a helpful trick, hack, or tool, but in the long run, it's really hurting our students from being able to use these other things or other processing stuff? So those are my thoughts after this. And yeah, thank you.